From the smallest coin in circulation to a symbol of historical change, the 1-cent coin has seen a fascinating journey through time. A tiny piece of currency, yet one with a big story to tell. Today, we're going to dive deep into the history, evolution, and surprising value of the 1-cent coin. So stick with us as we uncover how this humble coin has made its mark on economies, culture, and collectors alike. The story of the 1-cent coin dates back over 2 centuries. It all began in the United States in the early 1790s when the U.S. Mint was first established. The Mint was tasked with creating a national currency, and the need for small denominations became clear as people needed smaller units of money to handle day-to-day transactions. The first 1-cent coin, known as the Fugio cent, was introduced in 1787, long before the Mint was officially founded. It was designed by Benjamin Franklin himself, and the coin featured an image of a sundial with the words Fugio, meaning I fly or time flies, above it. On the reverse side, the coin showed 13 chain links, representing the original 13 colonies, with the inscription We Are One. The Fugio cent wasn't issued by the U.S. Mint but rather by private individuals, and it was used during a period when the country was still finding its footing in the world. Despite its historical significance, the coin didn't last long due to limited production and design challenges. In 1793, the first official U.S. Mint-produced 1-cent coin, the chain cent, was introduced. It had a similar theme to the Fugio cent, with a chain of links forming a circle on the reverse side. The obverse side featured a portrait of Lady Liberty. This coin marked the start of the U.S. Mint's role in coinage production, and it set the stage for future designs. However, as time went on, designs for the 1-cent coin evolved, reflecting changes in political and social climates. The most iconic of these designs came in 1909 when the Lincoln cent was introduced, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a wheat motif on the reverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was a revolutionary change for the U.S. Mint. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, became the first real figure to appear on a U.S. coin. This design became an instant classic, and the coin continues to be produced today, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in history. While the Lincoln cent is still in circulation, the design has undergone changes over the years. In 1959, the reverse of the coin was modified, replacing the wheat ears with a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design remained in use until 2009, when the reverse was once again changed to honor Lincoln's life and legacy. Then, in 2010, the Mint launched a shield design on the reverse side, symbolizing the protection of the U.S. Treasury and the nation's financial integrity. This current design remains in use, marking the end of a significant era in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about value. Today, the 1-cent coin has a face value of 1 cent, but due to inflation and rising costs, its purchasing power has greatly diminished over the years. In the early 1900s, a penny could buy a loaf of bread. Today, however, it barely buys you a piece of candy. Despite its diminished value, the penny is still produced in massive quantities. The U.S. Mint churns out billions of pennies every year. But the cost to produce these coins is rising. In fact, it costs more than 2 cents to produce a single 1-cent coin. This has led to ongoing debates about whether the penny should be discontinued. Interestingly, while the penny's purchasing power may be low, its total value in circulation is massive. According to the U.S. Mint, there are currently over 150 billion pennies in circulation in the United States. That's a staggering value of over $1.5 billion in pennies alone. Despite the increasing cost of production, pennies remain an integral part of everyday transactions. They are still used in vending machines, cash registers, and even in charity donations, where people often round up or leave pennies in donation boxes. Another fascinating aspect of the penny is its value in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Rare 1-cent coins, particularly those from the 19th century or with unique errors, can fetch significant amounts at auctions. For example, the 1943 copper penny, which was accidentally struck in copper instead of steel, is one of the most valuable pennies ever sold, reaching prices of over $1 million. Other notable collectible pennies include the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent, which is highly prized by collectors for its rarity, and the initials VDB on the reverse, a controversial marking that was removed after public outcry. These coins, along with others that have historical significance, are highly sought after and can be worth thousands of dollars today. As for the future of the 1-cent coin, its survival is uncertain. Several countries, including Canada, have already phased out their lowest denomination coins due to rising production costs and the decreasing purchasing power of those coins. In the US, discussions about discontinuing the penny have been ongoing for years. Some argue that the penny is outdated and inefficient, while others feel that removing it would be a loss of tradition. While the future remains unclear, one thing is certain: the penny has a rich history that's embedded in the very fabric of the US economy. So, whether you see the 1-cent coin as a symbol of history or a relic of a bygone era, it's undeniable that this little coin has made a huge impact over the years. From its humble beginnings to its place in collectors' hearts, the penny remains a testament to the ever-changing world of currency. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other videos for more fascinating stories from the world of currency and history. How much is a penny really worth? We all know that it's the smallest denomination in most countries, but did you know that this tiny piece of metal has a fascinating history, immense value, and a surprising impact on global economies? In today's video, we're going to dive into the journey of the 1-cent coin, its origins, history, and how it continues to shape the world in ways you may have never imagined. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed. The concept of coinage dates back thousands of years. The first coins appeared in ancient Lydia, a region that's now part of modern-day Turkey, around 600 BC. But when it comes to the 1-cent coin specifically, we have to look at the history of the United States for a closer look. The 1-cent coin, also known as the penny in the US, was first introduced in 1793, just a few years after the founding of the United States. Back then, it was much larger than the one we know today, made from pure copper, and featured a design that paid homage to the nation's first president, George Washington. The very first pennies were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, the first official mint of the US. It wasn't just about creating currency. These early coins were a symbol of a new, independent nation. As time marched on, the design and materials of the 1-cent coin evolved. In 1857, the large copper penny was replaced by a smaller version made of a copper-nickel alloy. This was the start of a long series of changes to the coin's size, composition, and design. In 1909, the US Mint made one of its most iconic changes: the introduction of the Lincoln cent. This coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, is still in circulation today. But it wasn't just about the design. This new penny was also a sign of technological progress, as the mint moved from hand engraving to more efficient methods of coin production. Today, the 1-cent coin may seem like a small and often insignificant part of our everyday transactions. However, its value is far more complex than you might think. At face value, it's worth just 1 cent, or 0.01 of a dollar. But is it really just a tiny piece of copper and zinc, or does it hold more than meets the eye? Despite its small value, the 1-cent coin is a part of a larger story. Did you know that there are over 150 billion pennies currently in circulation in the United States alone? That's more than 1.5 trillion pennies worth of currency floating around, and it adds up quickly when you consider the total supply of pennies globally. One of the biggest debates surrounding the 1-cent coin today is the cost of producing it. In fact, the US Mint spends more than 1.5 cents to make each 1-cent coin, meaning the production of pennies actually costs more than the coin's face value. That raises the question, why continue minting them? Over the years, lawmakers have debated whether it's worth continuing to produce pennies. Some argue that the cost is too high, and that it would be more efficient to eliminate the coin altogether. But others believe that getting rid of the penny would create more problems, especially for low-value transactions. Now, here's where things get interesting. While the average 1-cent coin may not be worth much, some pennies are worth far more than their face value. In fact, rare and historic pennies can fetch millions of dollars at auction. Take the 1943 copper penny, for example. This rare coin was mistakenly struck in copper instead of the usual steel and is now considered one of the most valuable pennies in the world. In 2019, one of these 1943 copper pennies was sold for over $1.7 million. That's right, 1 cent could be worth millions if you happen to have a rare one. Cut to a futuristic scene with digital currency and people paying with cards or smartphones. So, what does the future hold for the 1-cent coin? With the rise of digital payments and the decline in cash transactions, many wonder whether the penny will survive in the long run. Some countries, like Canada, have already phased out their 1-cent coin, while others are seriously considering it. Cut to a family using mobile phones to pay at a coffee shop. However, despite the push toward digital currency, many people still see the penny as a symbol of the past, a small but significant part of our history. It's hard to say whether the 1-cent coin will continue to be minted for much longer, but for now, it remains an enduring part of daily life. Cut to a montage of different people using pennies in everyday life, paying for small items, collecting them in jars, and even using them in art projects. From its humble beginnings to its surprising value, the 1-cent coin has had a journey that's nothing short of remarkable. Whether it's a symbol of history, a controversial item in today's economy, or a potential goldmine for coin collectors, the penny continues to spark interest. So, the next time you find a penny on the ground, take a moment to appreciate its incredible journey. The story of the 1-cent coin begins long before the United States even existed. The idea of using coins for trade and commerce stretches all the way back to the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Lydia, an area in what is modern-day Turkey. The first standardized coins appeared around 600 BC, made from a mixture of electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of gold, and silver. These early coins were not marked with specific values but were used to weigh precious metals, and they quickly spread across the ancient world, shaping the way we think about money today. Fast forward to the 18th century, when the newly formed United States was seeking ways to manage its own economy. In 1792, the U.S. Congress passed the Coinage Act, which established the U.S. Mint and set the foundation for the country's currency system. Among the first coins minted by the U.S. was the half-cent coin, but it wasn't long before the idea of a 1-cent coin emerged. In 1793, the U.S. Mint produced the first 1-cent coin, known as the chain cent due to the chain-like design along the coin's edge. The first U.S. 1-cent coin was made of pure copper and weighed a hefty 13.48 grams. Its design featured Lady Liberty on one side and a chain of links on the other. This chain symbolized the unity of the states, an important theme for the young nation. Over the years, the 1-cent coin evolved, with various designs and compositions reflecting the changing times. One of the most iconic changes came in 1857 when the composition of the penny was altered from pure copper to a copper-nickel alloy, making it cheaper to produce and more durable for daily use. The design of the coin also changed. In 1859, the famous Indian head cent was introduced, which remained in circulation until 1909. That year marked a major milestone when the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. This Lincoln design has remained largely unchanged since 1909, aside from a few tweaks. Even today, the penny is made of copper-plated zinc, with the profile of President Lincoln on one side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But despite its long-standing design, it's not immune to debate. You may wonder, given inflation and the rising costs of production, why does the penny still exist? The answer lies in both tradition and practicality. Although a penny might seem practically worthless today, it still serves a functional purpose, especially in pricing strategies and as a tool for exact change. The penny is still used in cash transactions, and while some countries have eliminated their smallest denominations, the U.S. continues to mint them. Around 14 billion pennies are produced each year by the U.S. Mint, despite growing debates over whether it's time to retire them. Interestingly, producing the penny is more expensive than its face value. In 2023, it cost about 2.1 cents to create each penny, a cost borne by U.S. taxpayers. This issue has sparked conversations about whether the U.S. should follow the lead of countries like Canada, which eliminated its 1-cent coin in 2012. Though some people argue for the penny's abolition, others claim that removing it could cause prices to rise, as rounding could be applied at stores. Additionally, some collectors still see value in these coins. You see, not all pennies are created equal. There are rare, collectible pennies that have fetched astronomical prices at auctions. For example, the 1943 copper penny, one of the most famous errors in U.S. Mint history, was struck on a copper planchet instead of the intended steel. Only a few of these era pennies exist, and they can be worth over $1 million. As for the future of the penny, no one knows for sure. While digital payments are on the rise and some people argue for its elimination, others believe that the penny still has a role in today's society. It might not buy much, but it continues to be a part of our national identity, representing a small piece of the American story. So the next time you pick up a 1-cent coin, remember, it's not just a tiny piece of metal. It's a piece of history, a piece of currency that has survived wars, depressions, and technological revolutions. The penny might be small, but its story is far from insignificant. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the history, value, and surprising worth of the 1-cent coin. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating stories from the world of currency and history. See you next time!